Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. This video is sponsored by AweSun Remote Gaming Desktop. More on that later. This is a remake of a video I did a while back on the best middle freight ships in the game, partly because a lot has changed with both the Raft and new features with the Raft, and a whole new ship in the category, the Asgard. While I was at it, I reevaluated my scoring system based on user comments. In particular, I decided to add price as a new criteria. I considered adding criteria for hit points and shield strength, but it seemed like it didn't really change the ratings much, and it was drawing focus away from the real point of the comparison, their ability for hauling. I also decided to change the bracket slightly, so middle freight is now from 100 to 200 SCU, making for nice round numbers. So, a mention of the sponsor of this video, AweSun Remote Gaming Desktop. Now, operating a PC remotely is an old technology. PC Anywhere for DOS was released in 1986, and most current desktop operating systems have that ability included. And AweSun has a fully featured free version as well. But the exciting part of AweSun is that they've also solved the problem of remote access of a PC from a phone or tablet, and also being able to use it to play games on the PC without needing to have an external keyboard or game controller. If you do have those things attached or a Bluetooth peripheral, they work fine, but they aren't required to it because of a feature called Virtual Keyboard. In other words, you create hotspots on the screen and give them keyboard and mouse equivalents. You place them however you feel comfortable, and you can have as many layouts as you wish, so having the buttons and layout that you work for each of your games. Moreover, these buttons can have long press enabled for things like continuous movement or firing. Now, are you going to win a dogfight using this? Of course not, but that's not the point. This is for the occasional get in and check the state of your mining jobs, or ride a friend's ship to where the next game session is going to start, or conduct a transaction, or whatever. And of course, it is not specific to just Star Citizen. It is just accessing your computer, so that anything can you do on your computer, including any game, would be available. The screen speed is fast thanks to H.264 compression, and the connection uses 256-bit AES encryption for security. You can see more at awesome.awray.com. So let's go over the criteria. First, gridded SCU. If additional space was available off-grid, I included it as a bonus to the vehicle hauling score rather than trying to figure out exactly how much off-grid cargo to include. Second, cargo efficiency. This is the gridded cargo capacity divided by the minimum number of containers needed to fill it. You might see it as the average container size when fully loaded. So, for example, the Raft can have its 192 SCU filled with just 6 32 SCU containers. So it has a score of 32, which is the highest possible. At the other end of the scale, the Sulin can only take 6 1 SCU boxes, so it has a score of 1, the lowest possible. Third, vehicle carrying capacity. Essentially, what category of vehicle it can carry. Small bikes, large bikes, buggies, rovers, and tanks. With a bonus for multiples and a bonus if they can be carried while also carrying the full gridded capacity. Fourth, whether the ship can carry an Atlas cargo loader mech, with a bonus point if it can carry it without losing any of that gridded cargo space. Fifth, whether the ship itself has a mounted tractor beam. Sixth, a judgment on how easy the grid is to be loaded. Ships with external cargo rated highest, the ships with wide cargo ramps and doors, and lastly, ships with constraint points and awkward loading sequences. And seventh, value, which is essentially how many you could buy with $1,000, since high numbers had to be better. Then I took the geometric mean of the 7 criteria to create the overall score. So, from lowest to highest. Sixth place, the Zeus II CL. The best points for the Zeus CL were the onboard tractor beam and lower than average price. But it was held back by an inefficient cargo layout that required a lot of 2 SCU containers and a very particular loading sequence to reach the 128 SCU capacity, a narrower than expected ramp, and a grid layout that required a very particular loading and unloading sequence in order to work. Fifth place, the Freelancer MAX. Pluses on the Max were its ability to handle rovers and be able to carry an Atlas off-grid. Minuses was an inefficient layout and a middle cargo bay that is extremely hard to get crates in and out of, and that the 120 SCU is at the low end of this class. Fourth place, or maybe better, is the Mercury StarRunner. The best things about the StarRunner were its vehicle loading and carrying an Atlas off-grid. What held it back was an inefficient layout, particularly the 6 SCU in the hidden compartment, which led me to an interesting thought. If I ignored those 6 SCU, reducing capacity from 114 to 108, but also reducing the number of crates needed by 6 and improving the ease of loading score to match, the Mercury actually jumped from 3rd place and pushed the Asgard to 4th place. 3rd place, the new ship in this category, the Asgard. Strongest points for the Asgard was the above-average capacity of 180, vehicle handling, and the ability to soar some vehicles and an Atlas without losing capacity. What held it back was because its grid is 9x5 on the base, rather than even numbers, it takes a lot of 2 and 1 SCU boxes to fill. Also, it has the highest price of any ship in this category, which hurt its value score considerably. 2nd place, the old favorite, the Constellation Taurus. It has good vehicle carrying, although not without losing cargo space. It has a cargo lift that is easy to load and unload, and a vehicle-mounted tractor beam that is very well positioned to help with the loading and unloading. Now, continuing to our number 1 ship, which through the process of elimination or looking at the bookmarks, you've probably already guessed is the Raft. And this is a ship that has gotten a lot of love lately. First, of course, is the changing of the cargo grid to double the gridded SCU before, taking it from the smallest middle freight cargo capacity, and the reason why I used to start the middle freight capacity at 96 rather than 100, to the largest. And as something of a surprise, a new feature in 4.2 is that the Atlas line of exosuits can now be attached to the cargo grid upside down. It does sacrifice 12 SCU of cargo capacity and is kind of awkward to use, if fun. As a practical matter, I don't see this used much since the Raft already has a ship-mounted tractor beam. I've heard lots of folks speculating about using the Raft as some sort of combat mech delivery vehicle, but honestly, the loading and unloading is so clumsy that I wouldn't ever expect to see it happening. It is so much simpler just to have the mechs just march themselves en masse off the ramp of the ship. The ship doesn't even need to come to a full stop for that. So, still, even though the Raft clearly deserves being the middle freight boxing champion due to its capacity, efficiency, and ease of loading, not to mention being the least expensive ship of its class, it still has a glass jaw in vehicles. Even if they were to continue to expand the ability to glue things upside down to the grid, it is just too awkward a way of carrying things. So if versatility to do more than freight was a high priority for you, then likely look more towards the Taurus, StarRunner, or Asgard. And now for an update on our giveaways. First, we have the video contest that I just recently announced, with the reward being either the amazing all-encompassing assault lander, the Asgard, or the terrifying tactical terrier, the Freelancer TAC. Look to this reference video for the contest rules. Then we have our regular annual IAE week giveaway for the shiny stainless steel series shipping ship, the Freelancer MAX, and then the Grow the Channel ship giveaway for the winner's choice of either the marvelous multi-role mining meta, the Arasta, or the brand new big box bargain bazaar, the Merchantman. 1 entry per video for these 2 drawings. Be a member for automatic entry with each video, or subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is the new ship in this category. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the first. This is Danny Raymond with Ray's Guide.